that has drawn to a close, and though it has been the smallest phase, it was just 49 seats that are up for grabs. As you could see, a lot of heavyweights contesting in the key areas. And as of 11:30 p.m., that is the data that we've compiled at the side of your screens. The voter turnout, well, it stands at a little over 60%. The highest polling percentage has been recorded in West Bengal, 76%. You've got Uttar Pradesh languishing, and that has recorded about 58%. And the lowest voter turnout was actually in Maharashtra at just over 54%. Mumbai recorded quite a low turnout as well, despite the fact that there was a lot of big voices, celebrity presence. In fact, the likes of notable figures such as the Union Minister Piyush Goyal, industrialist Anil Ambani, Mukesh Ambani, Akshay Kumar, etc. voted early in the day. The likes of Ranveer Singh, Janhvi Kapoor, Ranbir Kapoor, etc. were also at their polling stations, so they did make sure to cast their vote. We did catch up with a lot of personalities through India Inc. to find out their views and opinions.
If you look at the world around us, it's filled with war, with terrorism, uncertainty, instability. And look at this miracle. We're here with the privilege of being able to vote peacefully in a stable democracy and decide who will govern us. It's a blessing. Don't turn your back on that blessing.
I would like to say that it's a great privilege to have the opportunity to vote, and I would request all Mumbaikars to come and exercise their franchise and vote today.
When you see how systematically it's done and how smoothly it is done, I think it gives great joy to me. Also, it's so thorough. There are 3 different people actually checking what you are doing. And it was very smooth. I'm very happy.
I think the main thing is across the nation, I think healthy environment, less pollution, better quality water, better quality, and of course, the underlying growth, economy, strong nation, all of that is important. But on top of that, a very local agenda that really is a problem in big cities in the country, which is about, quality of living.
My younger daughter has voted for the first time. She's just 19. And I urge all the young voters to come out and vote. I think that it's a true expression of democracy. And if you are an aware citizen, which the younger generation is, I think it's very important that you come and vote.
It is our right and our responsibility to vote, and that's what we are doing. Please go out and vote. It's our right and our responsibility to do so as a responsible citizen of our country.
Okay, yes indeed. Nikunj, everyone went out there and cast their vote. Although we did have celebrities, business tycoons go out, it wasn't a great voter turnout in Maharashtra, just over 54%.
Yeah, I mean, the city of Mumbai numbers are not bad. That's what I was looking at data in the morning. This is the highest voter turnout what we've seen in 30 years. Now that's how things are stacked up. Phase 4, 69 voter turnout, 69.5. So in fact, none of the phases have actually seen number which is higher than 2019. This also is subject to change. This may not be the final number. It's not all that bad as what, in a sense, everybody was anticipating. It is not very impressive also. You really want the voter turnout. This is a small phase, so you really want the voter turnout actually to be strong. So from a market standpoint, this in a sense has been really this niggling worry, a concern that low voter turnout means it's bad for the current government, and high voter turnout is something which is big for the current government. Now there's no mathematical representation which actually establishes that, or there is no formula which establishes that what does a low voter turnout mean, and how you can really read into a low voter turnout as an indication of election result. But markets are markets. That's what they would do. So I get a sense that looking at the voter turnout, what's happened in Mumbai, the mood on the street, the market nervousness, which in a sense was quite palpable, or it was quite evident, let's say a couple of days ago, largely because of the election verdict and other factors, that really should settle down and that really should calm down. So from a market standpoint, it may just be it could just be back to, at least today, back to global cues, back to FIs, back to technicals and other aspects.
Okay, and of course, our markets were closed for trade yesterday on account of the voting. But while we were closed, lots that took place across the globe. So let's take stock of that as well. The fact that you had tech shares really soar in trade, and that really pushed the Nasdaq to record highs yesterday overnight. The likes of Nvidia surged more than 2%. Lots of bullish analyst calls there. And you also had the Dow Jones, which was above that 40,000 mark. That too was fairly commendable. You had clearly the Asian markets this morning, though. You've got pretty much a little bit of red coming in across the Asian screen this morning, so not too much conviction coming in there. But nonetheless, we are monitoring what's happening across the globe. JP Morgan slipped on account of Diamond's retirement comments. Ether continued to lead the crypto-related stocks. Crude oil prices, they paired their gains. Gold was at a life high. So, Nikunj, quite a bit of fervor going on when it comes to the global markets, different asset classes, and the Nasdaq at life highs.
You know, global markets, touch wood, they are absolutely firm like a rock. Whether it is precious metals or whether it is industrial metals or Nasdaq for that matter. Global bulls or global equity bulls, they continue to march ahead, and the setup in the global market is so conducive for equity investors. When you know that inflation is peaking out, interest rates will come down, that global equity bulls cannot put a foot wrong. That's how the stack up is right now. Now, one really looks at the last week trend, and let's look at markets in last couple of days. Indian markets are actually catching up, which is what is good for me. Which is that we've underperformed in the early part of May. We've underperformed quite drastically in last couple of weeks, but now we are really catching up. Global markets are up on an average 2%. Nifty also was up 2%. That's one good part. Second is then I'm keeping Saturday's special session aside because that really holds no value in terms of looking at technicals and looking at flows. But if one looks at Friday's data, the FI selling certainly seems to be reducing. So if global markets are strong and if India is catching up with global markets, and the impediment for the markets was that FIs were net sellers, and if that selling reduces, then are we in for that last hurrah ahead of the election rally? Too early to say that. Maybe you need more evidence of that. But you may want to decisively conclude that the nervousness which had gripped the market in middle of May because of FI selling, because of assumptions in the way how election cycle would move, I think that is getting arrested. So global markets are firm. India has underperformed. We are catching up. If FI turn net sellers, can the positioning of the market really be? Can the positioning of the market be more bullish in the run up to the election? We are on 21st of May. The election verdict comes on 4th. We are still a good 2 weeks away from the election verdict. Are we in for that last hurrah before the election cycle, now that the technical, the mood point and even global cues are strong and supportive? I think that is the narrative which would be the talking point for next couple of days now.
Yep, I guess that is going to be a key factor, the fact that we've seen a little bit of buying within the FII community. And even if we were to sum up the kind of price action that we saw in last week, I'm not including Saturday's trading day, you did have the broader markets, the real estate index, metals, auto, all clearly participating. So the broader markets too have been moving with fervor. And in terms of a strategy, Nikunj, given the fact that we do have the election outcome, the FIIs that are buying our macros fairly okay, what, Nikunj, would you advise would be the strategy?
So Avan, while it's very easy to say that, okay, you should raise some cash ahead of the election cycle, it is very easy to say that in the near term markets are looking slightly valuations are looking slightly stretched. What if markets don't like the verdict? My sense is that if you have a real long-term view, which is that 3-year plus, then trust me, nothing will change in your long-term portfolio, because ultimately markets are slave to earnings, and on the earning front, on the economic momentum front, on the valuation front, I guess money and wealth will be created very easily in next 3 to 5 years. Second, now it's a very tactical kind of a call where how much cash you want to raise and what do you want to do in terms of mapping the election volatility. 10 days ago, it appeared that if you bought into, if you raise some cash, or if you, in a sense, bought some protection in your portfolio, it made sense. But looking at how the global winds are, the fact that FIs have turned net buyers, the market in a sense has respected key technical levels. So if you have a near-term outlook, then I think in the run-up to the election, which is next couple of days, a last hurrah cannot be ruled out. So the basic rule of approaching this market is that you don't sit on too much of cash, don't have short positions at all. If at all, markets like the election verdict, which is what seems to be getting more and more endorsed now, looking at the moot point on ground reality, then you actually could be in for a bout of short covering by foreign institutional investors. So contra trade, according to me, is that if FIs like the election verdict, they could be forced to cover. And FIs will be able, and then typically when FIs they will come for 3 to 5 years. So I will not be surprised that rather than domestic dominated stocks, which is the PSU stocks, local capex and defense and railway stocks, the real election impact could be felt in some of the FI dominated stocks if they like the election verdict. So for me, that is election trade, which could be a easy trade for next couple of days.
All right, that should be the strategy that one should look to adopt.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.